Yeah, my name is Tom Sutton. I'm a 3D animator um, for work. My day job is I'm a lead animator on the TV show Paw Patrol. I've done in my job a lot of Paw Patrol. I've done like 6 seasons of Paw Patrol, and I've also done two feature films. I've worked on Hotel Transylvania 3 and Mitchell's versus the Machines. Yeah, and I also do hand-drawn animation, which I stream on Twitch. And I also just do art and illustration that I stream on Twitch. Uh, Different projects that I think would be fun.
Oh, wow, that sounds really fun. How long you been working on Paw Patrol for?
Since 2015, I've been working on Paw Patrol. I started fresh out of school actually, because I went to animation school when I was 28. I didn't roll like right out of high school and into university. So yeah, that was the first. It was my first 3D animation job, and I tried really hard to be good at it, and kept going back whenever I was invited. So it worked out. Now I'm one of three lead animators on the show, and I've done a lot of Paw Patrol.
Do you enjoy it?
Yeah, I do. It's like animation is a lot of hard work. It's really mentally involving. It requires a lot of focus to do properly and well. Um, and then production, anybody who works in like animation production or TV production will let you know that it's just like this giant moving machine that sort of crushes anything in its path. And you have to like keep sacrificing things to it. So there are sometimes like uh challenges that pop up that in terms of, oh, I have a lot of work to do this week, or oh, this episode is stupid, or oh, I have to like animate six cats and six dogs and like 12 people in this shot, and it's going to take a really long time. But like other than the challenges of production, I have a lot of fun at my job. It's being an animator is really fun because you're for me, I always thought of it as like a performance, like you're putting on a show for the audience. Um, so it asks you to come up with the most entertaining things that you can think of, sometimes the most silly or ridiculous things that you can think of, and implement them into the show.
What made you want to start animating?
It was always a persistent interest of mine, but I was never really good at drawing. Uh, but then I had a period where I was between jobs, and I'd finished another degree, and couldn't find work, and was thinking to myself, well, if I could do anything, what would I do? Um, Maybe I would animate. So I thought that I would give it a shot because it seemed like a lot of fun. It seemed like something that, like, I knew people had talked about how it would be difficult. So it seemed like something that I could probably spend the rest of my life doing and not like get bored of it.
What would you say is
And
the hardest part about it?
so imagine that you've got a performance in your imagination that you want the character to do on screen. You have to sort of break it down and figure out how to make the character move the way you want them to. um, and also excuse me, capture the attitudes that they're supposed to be thinking of. It's a lot of analytical work, but it also takes a lot of time and patience to get right, which some people just don't have the patience for it. um, there are a lot of people who start in animation and then realize like uh, and then realize that this isn't for them, because of how exacting sometimes you need to be to get something right.
Have you always
So
been interested in art?
um to a degree, like I always doodled. uh like casually. I never sat down really and tried to make a good drawing until I enrolled in animation school. And then I've always had a big interest in film and filmmaking. I took every opportunity that came my way to like make movies or do um, creative projects related to that. Um, so that those like working in film or TV and working on animation uh, really I find it really fulfilling because those are things that like working in TV was something that I had always thought about but never thought was possible until I actually tried it and then realized it was, right?
Is there anything in particular that inspired you?
There are like a lot of artists that I'm particularly inspired by, but if it for animation, if it's one thing in particular, there's an animator named Brianne Drouard who does a lot of work for WB, I think. She had released some projects that she did on the side, and they were just like these fun, cute little things uh, that she put up on YouTube. And I absolutely thought that they were just fantastic. I watched them over and over again. Um, and that really made me want to get into like that really made me want to find out like how I could do something like that.
I've always been inspired by Cartoon Network shows.
Yeah, I love Cartoon Network. Dexter's Lab, uh, Gendy Tartakovsky uh, was the director on Dexter's Lab, but he was also the director on Samurai Jack and Hotel Transylvania. So I got a chance to work with him very briefly for about 6 months when I was doing that movie, and it was great. Like he would give me the best notes. Would be like would show my shot in. You work on a shot and you bring it into the director for notes, right? And I would show my shot to Gendy, and he would be like, "Can you make it stupider?" And I'd be like, "Yeah, I could totally make it stupider. It sounds great."
What was it like working on that movie?
It was that was honestly one of the best experiences in my career so far. Like I've only been animating professionally for about um, yeah, not even 6 years, I guess. But when I when I got the chance to when I was invited to go work on it, I had to jump at it. And so I left the rest of my life here in Toronto and went out to Vancouver to Sony to go work on the movie. And I found a place to live for me and my dog. And it turned out my roommate was a super cool guy. And then, yeah, working at Sony, everybody was super nice. People were really supportive. Um, Trying to do work that is the best thing. Like when you're working on a feature like that, you have an opportunity where every new thing you do could be the best thing that you've done so far, which is challenging and, but also really, uh, you really want to make the most of that opportunity. Everybody was just having fun with it because the movie was silly. And the whole point of it was to be kind of ridiculous. So yeah, it was a lot of fun. I made some really good friends. I got to meet a couple of my heroes because I got to meet Gendy and I got to meet Glenn Keane at the time. If you don't know who Glenn Keane is, he's a Oscar-winning animator who he animated Dear Basketball, a Kobe Bryant short film. He was the director of Tangled, um, the the CG Disney movie.
I love Tangle. It's definitely one of my favorite Disney movies.
Yeah,
It's done
and
so well.
yeah, and Glenn has a long history of being uh, a standout animator at Walt Disney Animation because animated characters like Aladdin and the Beast and Tarzan. So having a chance to meet him was fantastic.
How do you think it is that you've got to where you are right now?
Um, that's a good question. I have confidence in my ability um, to learn new things and to be able to pick it up as I go, sort of build the plane while you're falling. Um, if like, so some people kind of get stuck in a trap of thinking that they need to be good at something right away in order to pursue it. But that's not the case. You can totally suck at something for as long as you need to uh, until you pick it up. Because learning takes time. Learning takes time. But if you're really trying to like understand and and like see through a problem all the way from the front to the back, or like get good at something, then yeah, just persistence and practice and focus will get you a really long way. And that's how I learned animation. Was I made it one of I made it like the top priority in my life. I was lucky enough to not have a lot of other responsibilities at the time, because I'm young, I'm single, I don't have a family, I didn't have any pets at the time even. So uh but by making it like, okay, that's all I'm going to do, this is what my life is about now, is just animation. So I threw myself at it, and just by believing that I could learn it if I tried to learn it, and then I did, um it worked out.
So would you say that being focused and patient like makes you different from other animators?
From other animators,
Yeah.
I think animators in general can be pretty patient people, because like I said, it does take a some patience to see through your shots all the way from uh the start to the finish. um I don't know what makes me different. Like, I'm willing to try things and see how it works out. I'm willing to fail sometimes in trying something interesting. um on Paw Patrol, when we do shots, they have to get approved by Spin Master. Spin Master is the company that owns the Paw Patrol brand. Um, and the company I work for, Guru Studio, we make the show for Spin Master. So uh, I'm willing a lot of the time to throw in something ridiculous or silly, or push the expressiveness of a performance, just to try to do something a little bit more special or funny or interesting, right? But I could very well spend like, I don't know, I could very well spend a lot of time, like a good chunk of my work week, on a shot, and then get it sent back by the client because it doesn't fit. Um, but that's just something that like I'm that's just something that I'm willing to do for my uh for my self-expression.
Could you explain more of the process that you go through when you're animating Paw Patrol?
Sure. So um Paw Patrol's a big team. It's at least 150 people working on Paw Patrol. um we have we get the script in from Spin Master, so we don't write the shows. But then the shows are boarded and prepped for animation by our team. If we need to make new characters or sets, then they model and rig them up. Then the layout department sets up all the camera angles and puts all the characters in the scenes for us. And then in our department in animation, you get the shot, and inside the shot are all the characters, but they're pretty static. They're not acting or moving. in the way that you would see in the final show. Uh, the quota for Paw Patrol is about 1 minute per show, and we roll over a show in 2 weeks. So you got 2 weeks to do a minute of animation. A minute is about 1,400 frames.
Wow.
So, so it's a lot of footage that you have to get through sometimes, especially if there's a lot of characters in your shots. It can be a lot. But then, yeah, we use Maya, we use Autodesk Maya to do our animation. We have tools to sort of like help our workflows. Um, when I get my shots, I will typically spend some time thinking about like what I want the shot to look like when it's done. If I need to be careful about how the shot hooks up with other shots in the sort of sequence of the show, then it's something that I'll talk to the animation supervisor, the director, or the other animators about.
Are you
And
still
then,
working on Paw Patrol now?
like right this moment, no, but I work on Paw Patrol a lot. Yeah, but
What
yeah,
is it that you're working on at the moment?
we're doing episode 812A, I think. That's what we just started. Yeah.
I've never actually seen one of the episodes.
You've not watched Paw Patrol?
No, I don't
But
really
you,
have like younger siblings or anything.
yeah, but you've probably seen the merchandise.
Oh yeah, you can't miss it. It's everywhere. It's so popular.
Mhm.
Did you know
Uh,
it would do as well as it's doing now?
when I started working on the show, they had just uh, wrapped their second season, and the producer came into Algonquin College, which is where I was going to school. And I told her I loved the show. I thought it was going to be really, really popular. And I showed her my reel. She showed it to the animation director, and they decided to give me a shot. And so, um, like I had all the ingredients of something that would be like, something that would make young boys and girls like really enjoy it because they're dogs and they're cute and it's got the transforming vehicles and silly kind of characters. And for really young kids, it's preschool relies a lot on repetition, like the formula being the same, the formula of the show being the same. So in every episode, the dogs will like they'll be up to something and then something will go wrong and then they got to go to the lookout and then the rider gives them all something to do and then they all like drive out in the same way. We get to use some reuse on the show where we don't have to animate it, we just pull something out that we animated already. And then they save the day and then something else goes wrong and then they save the day again and then the show ends. It's like all pretty, it's the same thing in every show, but kids like that. 3, 4, 5 year olds, they like that because they can sort of anticipate what's coming, right?
How long is each episode?
So we ship in every show there's 2 episodes. So there's an A and a B episode and each episode is 11, 12 minutes long, something like that.
Do you have like a favorite character animate?
um I like animating Mayor Humdinger. So he's like the villain in the show, but he wears this like purple suit and top hat. He's got this curly mustache. Um, he's the most cartoony cartoon character in the show. So I think I get a chance to be really exaggerated when I animate Mayor Humdinger. So that's why I enjoy it.
How has the pandemic affected you?
Well, they sent us all last year, about this time last year, they sent us all to work from home. Um, Thought it would be a good idea to close up the studio because cases had started to go up in Toronto. And so when it took us, actually, they were almost all ready for us to work from home It's just something that they had a couple kinks to work out once we finally got everyone, set up and ready to go. So it was pretty seamless. Like we kept finishing Paw Patrol on time, on budget, like thanks to the thanks to our IT team. But for me personally, I found it kind of challenging to work from home. Like I had gotten so used to my routine that being thrown out of it was a little bit discombobulating. And it took me quite a few months to like be able to wake up and sit down at my desk and start working without feeling like something was wrong with the situation. Um, and but I've gotten used to it by now. It's been a year. Uh, and I'm not as productive as I was in the studio, because at home there are distractions and comforts that sort of call you away, and you don't have that sort of social reinforcement to do your work like you do at work, where you want to make things that like I want to make things that I can show off to my team. I want to make things that I can show off to the director. I want to collaborate and help people with their work. Um, and not being able to do that what in a situation where people are right next to you, uh, it definitely took some getting used to, and I miss it. I do, but other than that, I don't know, we moved house so that we would be in a nicer apartment, so that I'm sitting all day in a nice space. Um, and yeah, it's just taking some getting used to.
Are there not any plans to like going back into work?
Probably not. The whole animation industry has kind of had to adapt in the same way. And there are some constraints to where you can live and also work from home. But basically, everyone is doing the same thing now. So at Sony or at Guru or at a lot of other studios, they'll be like, well, can you work from home? Maybe we'll have you come into the studio eventually. There's this thing in Canadian animation where a lot of the production is funded by tax credits. And tax credits are done at the provincial level. So I have to be in Ontario to work for Guru because of the way that that works. I can't like up and move to BC or Alberta. But as long as I'm in Ontario, I can keep working for Guru. So it does give us a lot of flexibility as artists, like where we want to live and work. With a fiber connection, you can pretty much be like anywhere. Or like with a like Starlink now. Some of my friends have signed up for Starlink, which is the Elon Musk thing where they get internet from space, right? And so they've set up they're trying to set up to go like live at their cottage in the middle of nowhere, right? So that they can do their job where they'd like to be.
What advice would you give to people that are just getting into animation?
Um, make it your highest priority. Otherwise, it's going to be really difficult to uh, get proficient at it. You have to do a lot of, it's better to do a lot of footage. It's better to do a lot of small things and progress that way than do one big thing. A lot of new animators sort of overscope their projects, make them too big, make them too ambitious. Doing a lot of small little things, less than 100 frames, is better, uh, easier to finish. You learn more by having a new chance to try something again.
Have you seen the little animations I do for my podcast? That
Yeah, I've seen a couple of them. Yeah.
I've only been doing it for like 2 months now, and I don't put that much effort into them. I don't
Yeah.
spend too much time. I've not
Do you
really done a lot of research or anything.
do you think you'd like to have a career in animation?
Um, well, I'd love to. That would be so fun, but I don't think I'd be qualified.
What do you mean? Like you could, as long as you can execute footage that people can put on TV, you can work in animation. You don't need a degree or anything. That's
I mean,
like
in general, I don't really know a lot about art anyway, because I've never even had an art class.
okay,
I
but you
only
do
study business.
okay, but you do art like in your free time.
Yeah, I do just enjoy doing it at home because I think if I did it as a subject, like I wouldn't enjoy it as much.
That's fair. I felt the same way about music for a long time, where I didn't know a thing about music, but I would play guitar, um, just because it was fun to have something to like express yourself and recreate with, right? Just just to try something and have fun, not take it seriously.
If you could
But
work on like any project, what would it be?
right now,
Yeah.
um, I'd love to work with Gendy again. I think that that would be a lot of fun. Primal was so cool, and he's doing a lot of like edgier projects. So I'm a CG animator, but I do hand drawn animation uh, for my personal projects a lot of the time. And so I would like to work on a hand drawn animated production eventually.
Do
Um,
you have any plans for the future?
we'd like to buy a house one day, I think. um, in terms of my career,
Yeah, just anything to be honest.
I'm trying to finish up a board game that I've been working on. I've been working on a board game called ARF Pirates, which is about it's like a dice game. It's a push your luck dice game, uh, and it's about dogs that are pirates. It's just something goofy. I came up with the project because I wanted to like have something to work on, have an excuse to draw, and feel like it wasn't just going off into the ether or anything like that. So I could have a finished product when I was done. But finishing things is really difficult.
I did look into it. It did look really cool. Do you plan on like selling it?
Yeah, there are sort of publishers that will print board games on demand. So anybody who wants a copy, they'll make you a copy just for you. Um, so I think that that's the route that I'll go with that game. Um, and then I think one of my goals for 2021, that so finishing the board game was actually a 2020 goal that I didn't quite finish, but one of my goals for 2021 was to make a video game. And I've been getting more into pixel art and trying to wrap my head around how I'm going to do that. I don't think it'll be anything huge or ambitious, but just something small and try to make it charming.
What kind of video game would it be?
I really like I have a Game Boy. I really like Nintendo Game Boy, so maybe I'll make it for Game Boy. If that seems to be too much trouble, then I'll just release it on the internet. But it's like the kind of game it might be either like a platformer like Mario or
I love
uh
Mario games. I have a
yeah,
Nintendo Switch and I'm just obsessed.
yeah. Maybe like Sokoban. Do you know what Sokoban is?
No, I've not heard of that before.
It's like Chips Challenge. You like push boxes. They're like box puzzles. That's it's uh it's sort of like top down, and you gotta like push the boxes in the right place in the right order. Um, it's
Do
pretty
you do a lot of
straightforward.
gaming?
No, not really. I just like making things. I don't really play much video games anymore. You get older, you get busy. Like I spend anywhere from 6 to 12 hours a day working on Paw Patrol, and then we have a dog, and you know I got to take care of myself. And by the time the day is over, um, it's like, well, I guess I don't have any time anymore to play video games. I can sneak in like a game now and then on my phone, or something casual that I can just pick up and play, right? And then every once in a while, every now and then, once in a blue moon, I'll pull out the PlayStation and play something from like 10, 15 years ago.
What kind of dog do you have?
We've got a collie. It's a border collie mix. His name is Gus. He's really sweet. He's still a puppy, so he's only a year and change. Um, we had another dog named Wally. Uh, Wally was a Beagle Bulldog mix, so he was a really interesting looking dog. He passed away at Christmas. But anybody who's on my Twitch stream, I styled all the emotes after my late dog Wally.
Oh, that's nice. How long have
Yeah.
you been streaming for?
About the same time we started on working from home. So a little bit before, I think I started in February and they sent us home in March. Um, and then, yeah, I signed up for affiliate. When was that? I guess that was in August. And since then I've been taking it more seriously and trying to be consistent and use it as my sort of guarded creative time to work on my projects and get things done.
What made you want to start streaming?
My friend Christoph, who is on Twitch as Stoff Creates, we had worked together at Guru, and I had watched him on Twitch for about a year, do his game development, and I'm like, that looks kind of like fun. Maybe I'll try something like that. And then when we got to working from home, and I wasn't sort of getting the same social interaction, I found that by being on Twitch, I was having a chance to like meet and become friends with other streamers. And it's actually a really social experience because you go and you watch their streams and they'll come in and they'll watch your streams and you share things that you have in common. You share the art community on Twitch is not like the rest of Twitch. It's super supportive. People are generally really nice. Um, the vibe is good.
So would you say it's just a hobby?
Twitch?
Yeah.
Yeah, just a hobby. Like I said, it's like guarded for me. It's like guarded creative time. I sit down, have a cup of coffee, and then I'm like, okay, let's get to work. You know,
How
um,
often do you stream?
twice a week on the regular, sometimes 3 times a week. Um, and then once a month, we've been doing animation tutorials where anybody who wants to come and watch the stream, if you sit down with me at the beginning of it, by the end of it, if you follow along, then I will have shown you how to do it like a piece of animation from start to finish. So we did walks, runs, sneezes. We did some pixel art. We've done that. Yeah, we started that this year. And so I don't know what we're going to do for the next one, but that's been a lot of fun too.
Is this something that you always plan on doing, streaming?
For the time being, like it's nice, like I said, it's a nice social experience. And it sort of fills that gap when I can't really go see my friends right now. Toronto is pretty much in a persistent state of lockdown as far as COVID goes.
Are you still in
So
lockdown now?
it's like it's not, they've got varying states of lockdown that we're always in. They're like, oh, you can't, you know, do a social gathering, or if you do, it's going to be outside. And you can't have more than like 10 people. And sort of personal services are closed. So I haven't gone to the barber in, I don't know, like 8 months or something like that. And so like just to be safe, my partner is slightly immunocompromised. So just to be safe, we're staying by ourselves until we can get vaccinated.
Yeah, I mean, we've got like a lots of like vaccinations here right now, and we've only just started going back to college.
Yeah.
to get like tests twice a week though, so it's kind of annoying.
Yeah, but that's probably for the best because then if there's an outbreak, they catch it right away.
Well, I feel like we should just stay at home anyway, rather than making
Yeah,
us go back in.
I know.
There's no point.
I know, especially if you can do it all online, why not?
Yeah, there's literally no problem in doing it online because they don't really we don't really do work in college anyway. They'll probably just like talk at us for a couple hours and then we go off and do the work ourselves. So they could just
Yeah.
call us and do it.
Yeah. Like yeah, it's the same thing here. There is like a slight they keep opening up the schools and then closing the schools and then opening up the schools again, but I think that that's probably I don't know, whatever you can do online, you should be doing online right now. And last summer, I don't know why we didn't just have like one big lockdown during the summer to like get everything under control, right? Because the numbers were low. Anyway, we're just trying to weather the storm.
Yeah, but they should just keep the schools closed because it's like one of the reasons why it just keeps getting bad again.
Yeah.
Have you ever been
But
to the UK?
no, I had no money. I had absolutely no money for a very long time. So I've only been to the States like when I was a kid with my family. And I've only been like out of the country once, and that was 2019. We went to Mexico. That's it.
Would you like to travel in the future?
Sure, I'd love to go to Japan. Um,
Oh
that's something
yeah.
that we had talked about for a few years now, but never had the wherewithal to do. And now that we have some money, we're not allowed to go anywhere.
Oh well, just keep saving.
Yeah.
Japan's expensive anyway.
Yeah, yeah. Use it to buy a house.
I've always wanted to go to Japan, but I know if I went, I'd spend so much money.
Yeah. Like I think what's appealing about Japan is that it's just totally like it's literally the other side of the world. And it's a culture that's uh it, how do I put it? It's almost as far away as you can get from what you're used to while still being familiar. um just because the culture is so different, but then they have a lot of the it's quite westernized in some ways, I guess. And it's comfortable and it's safe and there's a lot to do and see.
I do love to travel. I really miss that. And I was going to go on a trip with college to
Mhm.
Canada, but that got
Oh,
cancelled.
where in Canada were you gonna visit?
I think it was Toronto.
Yeah, Toronto's great. I love Toronto. I've lived in Toronto, um, yeah, for about 6 years on and off now, and it's been like so. Toronto takes some getting used to. Toronto's kind of like New York in that way, where it's noisy, it's kind of smelly, and everybody's in a hurry. And but Toronto is still like Canada, and Toronto is really sort of this vibrant kind of multicultural, uh, really, how do I put it? It's like it's like this really vast spectrum of people and cultures from all over the world. Um, and the food is amazing. Toronto, like I admit I haven't been that traveled, but the food in Toronto is the best that of anywhere that I've been.
Yeah, I
Um,
just hope that they reschedule like the trip for next year or something. Hopefully we can go.
yeah.
I don't know why we were going to go there. It's something business related. No.
In 2018, I drove across Canada with my girlfriend from Vancouver to Toronto, and it was a good time. Canada is big and really pretty, um, and we camped our way across with the Wally in the back seat, and yeah, it was a great experience. I love being Canadian. I'm really proud to be Canadian. I feel so lucky that this is where I find myself, right? Um, I
I think
can't.
it's strange how you can like drive for hours and still be in the same country though.
Yeah. Well, like, so in 2019, when I went to go work on Mitchell's, I drove from Toronto to Vancouver. I thought that I could do it in 4 days if I drove 12 hours a day. But what ended up happening was I had some car trouble along the way. And so I was like really stressed out by the time I made it, like, I don't know, like three-quarters of the way there, that I had to take a break. I'm just like, no, I can't keep driving. Because
That
you
is
could,
mad. I could drive a few hours and I'll be in a different country.
yeah. No, you could drive, like, if you wanted to drive from coast to coast, it would probably take a week
Oh my gosh.
if you really gunned it. Like we gave ourselves to get from Calgary to Toronto, we gave ourselves like 2 weeks, and we were still driving for like 4 hours a day. Um,
Gosh, that
it,
actually is mad.
yeah,
Is there
but I
anything you want to add before we finish? I won't keep you for too long.
oh excuse me. I no, if anybody has any questions about like working in animation or wants a career in animation, I would totally say go for it. Because there are jobs, like it's a booming industry right now, especially um, that it's gotten so much more difficult to make live action TV because of the pandemic. So it's a great time to get in. It's a really fun career. It can be unpredictable, sometimes a little unstable, but if you really love it, it'll be good to you, because it's been good to me. And if you have any questions, you can reach out to me um, uh, on Twitter. I'm OhNoTomSutton on everything. I'm OhNoTomSutton. You can just Google that and my everything will come up. But yeah, don't be afraid to reach out, ask me a question. That's what I'm here for.
So when you say just go for it, you mean like just keep applying and then hopefully you
Yeah,
get it?
learn learn what you can. Try to do professional level work on your own or through a program at school. And when you get an opportunity, if it's better than the one you have, take it. If it's better than where you find yourself right now, yeah, just take it, and you will, you'll work your way up. As cliche as that sounds, you've got to be kind of devoted to. If you want to work in features, you want to work at, say, Disney or Pixar, DreamWorks or Sony, you do have to be devoted to your own professional development. Um, but if you want a stable, like, you want a relatively, I guess relatively is, yeah, you want a contract based job, like maybe you work for a year on a show, work for a year on another show, uh, that you can do from home, then animation is fantastic.
Yeah, it's really good advice. Thank you so much for being on my podcast.
Well, thanks for having me. I enjoyed it.